And welcome back. Well, we're going to be looking at the point connections for the undercarriage. Now I've got some images here of the actual undercarriage, and as we can see how it's all connected up, we would have to offset our point connector on an angle, and that angle would have to be up and sort of pointing outwards. So that's the pivot point there, and as we can see, so that's something that we're going to have to take into consideration when applying our point connector and setting it up. Okay, well, let's close these down and let's get cracking. First of all, let's pop into our layers manager. What I want to do is hide the fuselage, hide the cockpit, we'll hide the tail section, and we'll hide the prop as well. Close that down, select the wing and press Alt X to put it into transparency mode. Let's now go into our top viewport, go zoom, and now we can actually zoom in a little bit more. As we can see, this is our undercarriage here, so our point connection needs to be established somewhere in this area, preferably in line with this undercarriage arm there, but just a little bit ahead of it, because we didn't actually model the top of this section. Okay, let's pop over to our helpers. We want point, we've got cross, and we also want our axis tripod. We'll increase this to somewhere around about 23, somewhere there. That'll probably do that. Let's turn on our snap, and I want to snap to a vertex. Let's have a look. We've got a vertex up there, so let's put it there. It's a little bit closer, just as a general guide for the time being. Okay, let's now put this into perspective viewport. That's P. Zoom around and let's see where this is precisely. There we are. Let's select a move tool, W on the keyboard. What I want to do is just bring this up, and we've still got snap on, so it's snap then. So let's turn snap off. That's better. Now we can take it back down. Just want to zoom in there a little bit. So I'm looking for an angle which is about in the middle of our undercarriage leg there. Let's zoom around a little bit more from the top. Again, it now needs pulling back a little bit. So again, we're trying to get it central with this. We can now pop into our left viewport. Let's go Z for zoom. We're going to use our rotate tool, which is E on the keyboard, making sure that angle snap is off. Now I want to rotate this, let's have a look, to about that angle. Why that angle? Well, this is where the leg comes out, but it doesn't come out straight, it actually comes out at about that angle. Okay, let's pop into our top viewport. Let's go Z for zoom, and now I actually want this to be pointing out in that direction slightly. So again, let's rotate it around. That looks about right to there. Generally get it so it's just touching the edge of the fuselage just there. Right, let's go to our normal select tool, put it into perspective because I want to show you something now. Okay, well, we've set this up and we've set the pointers so that they are pointing out. Now the axes are X, Y and Z. However, what I want to do is have this whereby it's only rotating around the Y axis. We don't need the X and we don't need the Z. However, let's go through the processes as though we wanted the Y axis to be the one which is active. So we could pop up to our curve editor. Now 0.01, which is what we've created because we've not yet given a name, is what's selected. So therefore in our curve editor that's what it's showing us. And if we move down we can see the rotation. Now as I said, what we want is the Y rotation which is active. So therefore we could lock the X rotation and the Z rotation. So let's do that. Let's select X over to this side and let's go lock. Take the Z rotation, right click and let's lock. So by rights we should now be able to have it so it's just rotating around the Y location, the Y axis. That's what one would expect having now locked it off. However, if we now go for the rotation tool, E, let's just have a look at this. Let's see what happens. Well, there's something not right. We said we wanted it rotating about the Y axis, so therefore we didn't want the Y axis to move at all. Let me just undo that so we don't lose the position. So let's have a look at this again. Well, clearly that isn't what we want. If we worked it at that and we had our undercarriage linked to it, it would actually come out at the wrong angle. Let me just undo that. Now this is something that I found with Macs. If we were to do this on the X-axis it'd work fine. If we were to do it on the Z-axis, again it'd work relatively fine. But when it comes to the Y-axis, for some reason it doesn't seem to want to play ball. Let's for a moment link our undercarriage to this point connection there. Okay, into schematic view, it's the undercarriage on the left side. It's going to link that one, bring it across to point 1. Now pull out a little bit, rotate round and let's try it. Now as you can see there, it's swinging around but it's going towards the back. It's not coming out at the angle down here, which is what we wanted. Yes, it works fine, but it's not the correct angle because this axis there isn't stable. It's rotating around at the midpoint there, which is precisely what we didn't want. So what's the solution? Well, first of all, let's just undo those few actions in order to get the undercarriage back into the housing. There we go. Now what we need to do is disconnect the link. So up to schematic view, zoom in a little bit there, 0.01, let's select that and break the link. Now with 0.1 we need to select that There we go. Go into our curve editor, go down, and now we need to unlock unlock. Come on. Right click, unlock. That's better. I thought this was going to freeze for a moment then. Unlock. Unlock. Thank you. Now, what we need to do is actually rotate this around, so we're going to replace the y-axis with the x-axis. Well, mindful of the time, I know we're not going to get this done in this session, so we'll continue it in the next session. Okay, I'll catch you later.